sleeping, and 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I think the temperature kind of switches in the middle of the night, and I start to sneeze in my sleep. I'm like, achoo, achoo. And then, your eyes water. So you do that for almost 2 hours. So 5 o'clock, I have to force myself to be up, and my kids are not even awake. So I've been cranky for a good 2.5 years, because you don't want to mess with me at that time. Because come in the morning, I'm already so exhausted. I have no energy to cook or nothing like that, but I have so many things to do. So then I start to look for things for immune system. So I'm Rosia right here, the Whole Foods store. So I walk myself in, I'm looking at it, and this one pinpointed this particular product. It's some kind of root. So you take it for some time, then it's supposed to help you. So it did help a little bit, but it just never went away. And some naturally derived allergy medicine, that was about it. So when I heard about this, so my sponsor goes, I just started taking it. It helps me with fatigue. But this, back then, it was almost 30% of Atomi's sales came from this. I'm like, really? Because their product for their face is so good. It's so moisturizing, that's all I wanted. And she said, but that's 30% of the sales, then I'm really interested, and it's good for your immune system. So I didn't even look it up or nothing, but I bought a box. Let me invest in it. So I tested, but my allergy's still here. But one thing I noticed, I couldn't sleep at night for 3 days. And then, but I already heard, it might happen, because it kind of works up your system. And then my lips, usually not this red, usually have no color. I have a little low blood pressure. And then I can see myself in the mirror. It's bright red, I look kind of pretty. And I didn't put anything on, I'm like, wow. And then I feel that, it's sort of working somewhere, but I don't know exactly what. But nothing happened other than that. And after 3 weeks and a bit, my best friend, same girlfriend, we always talk in the morning, but nothing better to do. We call each other, and what are you going to eat for lunch? Want to go for coffee? And she goes, oh wow, that cold of yours has gone. I'm like, really? So she was making fun of me for having, I don't have sinus. Because her husband and her father-in-law had sinus, and she's just, she's not very, she hears it all the time, wherever she goes, me and her husband and her father-in-law. And then she hears it's gone, and I go back to my bedroom, and I used to hold huge boxes of Kleenex from Costco, and I see the empty one, and it's been there for a few days. I'm like, wow, I used to go for a box a day. So really, so I stopped taking it, because the box was almost done anyways, and then I felt it's slowly coming back. So they say, you know what, unless you have other conditions, usually you take it at least for a good 6 months, and you might take some breaks, so you have to kind of wash it out. So it's been, almost 2 years now, and I tell myself, I have never had this much energy in the morning. That's good enough for me. So I don't know nothing about it, but my friend and her mother-in-law, she's a pharmacist back home in Korea. She doesn't take anything unless she knows what's in it, and she made it, I guess she described it. And then she heard it, she's like, no way. She takes it, and I see her husband was gone. I said, well, you take it religiously, because I took it properly. Twice a day, how they saw it, on empty stomach, and dilute it with warm water, because then your absorption level becomes, higher. So she did that, both of them gone. I was like, wow, if that works, then what is it? Now they're asking me. So I'm no scientist, but this is what I figured out. Very simple to my level of science. Hemo is for hemoglobin, obviously, because blood. Red blood cells and white, actually. And H is for hematogenesis, meaning produces blood cells. And I is for immune system, and M for modulation. So you put it together, what that means is I was overreacting to cats and all that stuff. That means my immune system is overreacting to unnecessary stuff. And if you're kind of sick and you get sick and you never recover, that means your immune system is down. So modulation means if it's low, they bring it up. If it's too high, they push it down. And same thing with blood cells and blood counts. I'm like, oh, and what does it really do? Or what is it? So they worked on it before Tommy came in the picture. And for 8 years they tested, and it was a national project by Kerry. So they have spent their tax money, almost $15 million. I think it was installments, 5, 10, and now it's $15 million. It's the first individually approved functional health supplement. So what does that mean? There are millions of health supplements. Just go to that next door and you will see thousands. And functional means it's just like a cream. You can find 2 eye cream. One says functional eye cream, that means it has an active, approved ingredient that targets an area, like your wrinkles. So that ingredient is approved functionally. Just a regular eye cream, it's probably moisturizing, but it doesn't have anything that's active, that's functionally approved ingredient in it. As soon as the word functional is in front of it, it doubles, triples, because the ingredient is probably expensive to get to. So functional health supplement, you don't get into, you don't find this every day, and it's the very first one, and approved by US FDA. So we'll look at the patents later. So we can talk about it, but to be really simple, basically, how do you patent these Chinese herbs? Because Chinese herbs, you just go to in Markham, this area, there's millions of Chinese medicines, and the herbs has been around for almost thousands of years. So how do you patent a plant? You can't. So what they did is, for 8 years, they look for anything that's good, that's known to be good for your body, and they put everything on the table. And what they do, they're able to really spread it out into small particles. And then with this technology, they leave out the pesticides, the residues, and the toxins, and they only take out the good ingredients and put it together and become one. So that is new. That is new. Then you can patent that product in a pouch, and that's what they did. So what they do, they don't create, they don't boost their immune system directly. What they do is they really refreshes what we already have built in our body. It rejuvenates and refreshes the immune system what we have. So this, if you look up on the internet, there's so much information. So in order to answer a lot of people giving me questions, I said, you know what, just go online and research. So I have to do it myself. And many reports I've done. And this is just a picture, the data from Kerry, public data. And this is one of those 4 functions they do. Anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, it's almost the same thing. Antioxidation, and immune system, and hematogenesis. So this is one of the antioxidative activity. When someone goes through the radiation therapy, a healthy cell is just sitting there, but it gets exposed to the radiation, they pop. That's why a lot of times they lose hair, they lose appetite, so it's very hard to bring it up to their appetite so they can eat again. They recover, then they can get a next round of therapy, but a lot of times that's the worst part. So what they do, once it's treated, it's not exactly back to its original shape, but somewhat you know you can't gather yourself after treated. And if you have the immune system, they have many of them, like NK cells and T cells, it does different functions, but what it does is some pathogens attack your body, then they're able to fight back. Our system built in, it's a miracle inside, but usually through stress is the worst thing. It's worse than bad food, like really fatty food you eat, but stress is, this NK cell is also called natural killer cell. It's really one of the strongest things that protects our body, but we were looking at the documentary, and something comes and really just demolishes NK cell, and that was a stress hormone. So you know, but there's nothing that doesn't stress you out these days, and a little bit of stress is good for you. So, you know, it's more of prevention, and this is a patent. And I have a friend who's in medical field, and she looks at the Korean patent, she's like, yeah. They're kind of generous, to be honest. But she looked at the US patent, she's like, wait a minute. Because you read it through, and I wrote down this quickly when I was at the center, I'm going to look it up. And I did look it up, and there's after, and you can print out pages and pages of the actual patent. And it says, herbal composition for improving anti-cancer activity, immune response and hematopoiesis of the body, and protecting the body from oxidative damage, and the method of preparing the same. They don't give out this word very easily, anti-cancer. They don't. So, and then she was able to look into the next step. So there's many areas that you can actually present. So as of last March, finally we can shop Hemohim in Canada. It took a long time. And Health Canada really works overtime to keep things from not coming over, but we have it at your doorstep. So I have a friend who can explain this Very good. Instead of me. So pay attention to her, and here she is.
In the beauty of Mother Nature lies our lives. Embracing the most valuable gifts from nature, Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute's high purification technology and fermentation biotechnology created premium cosmetics, Atomic Skincare 6 Systems, top 4 technologies that transform your skin, cutting-edge technology that enriches cosmetic ingredients from fresh green tea leaf, high purification technology enhances efficacy through high content composition. Awaken your skin's vitality with essential fresh herbs. Fresh herb extraction biotechnology, multiple nano capsule technology. The capsule technology allows outstanding absorption of nutrition to the deepest level of the skin with nanoparticles. And ancient natural ingredients. Physalamyces japonica Felinus lentius meets the fermenting technology to make premium solution for my skin. Now experience the miracle of Atomi Skincare 6 System.
So this is one of the new videos that came out, and she did a really good job. And I really like the way the efficacy changes. So what just happened? The one and only technology that a lot of companies will fight for, it's because any cosmetics that we actually put on our face, it's a mixture of water and oil. That's how I understand it. But once you put in the active ingredients, but they say putting the active ingredients, it's tough. It's because of the color and the smell. We know a really well-known S company, Japanese brand, and there's a premium line called green tea line. And what they do is they actually charge you a little bit more. It comes in a green bottle. And the same guy who made the space food, he comes back with a bottle, and then he put it in the spectromax, whatever they call it, to really break down what's in it. Because none of the Korean cosmetics made it to the expo, but that was there. So he brings it back and puts it in there, and he realizes that in the green tea premium, they only have 0.01% of green tea. So it's a little bottle, so 0.01% is probably like the tip of your, but why is that? Is green tea really expensive? You can find expensive green tea, but it's not because of that, it's because of this. You put in a little bit and it gets oxidated and it gets brown. It can actually, colorize your skin. So it's not because it's expensive, it's been really hard to filter out the color and the smell. And what Mr. Kim Myung-un and the team did, they explain it as this. Really, really strong sunlight on the product will make you white. It's a gamma rays. But then again, they're like, wow, this worked. And he came back the next day with back to brown. So he broke it down, and then he was able to add vitamin E, vitamin C, the active ingredients, where it's broken. I don't understand it, but my Estee Lauder friend did. She was like, wow, if that's true, then she understands it. Then that makes sense, high purification. So they're able to put in 500 times more of green tea or anything now, because there are many things that we know. Our mothers know they sometimes make facial mask with it, but then it can stink. There are a lot of things that's good for your skin. But now they can put in anything. They don't mind what it is. Even, I don't know how to say that in English. It's called tumchumachu. It's like mushroom grown out of worm. Because the mushroom seed lands on a worm. And worm is really high in protein. And then by winter, the worm dies, the mushroom sucks out all the protein out of it. That thing is really expensive. It's one of those things that you gift to your king or, like your parents. And that has so much good quality as anti-cancer and moisturizing. But now they're able to put that in there. And fresh herb extraction biotechnology just means that instead of drying up the herbs, that's the cheapest way to store herbs, of course. You see them at the mall or anywhere. But We have the organic farm in Korea, called Angel Farm, if not more, but that place is pretty well known. And all the organic herbs that harvested, once you cut the flower, what happens? It gets brown, oxidates. Within 24 hours, harvesting those organic herbs, we're able to extract all the goodness out of it. So that's why it's called fresh herb extraction stuff. That's kind of important. So we're into medicine fermentation. So we talked about it. What that does is once things are fermented, it might stink, but we can also filter it out anyways. But also it creates good amino acids. So you absorb better and it's much more nutritious. So that's what they do. And multiple nanocapsule technology, that's the fourth one out of 4 monstrous cutthroat technology. So once you have all the good stuff, 500 times more more of the good stuff. So it's proven to be just about 100 times more moisturizing and brightening. But what if it doesn't get absorbed into the skin? Because that's usually what happens with the traditional way. That's our cells. So think of cells, 100 nano apart. And usually the particle of things that we bind, it's way bigger than that. That's why back home when I was younger, my mom would be really diligent in caring for her skin. So what she does is she gets towel steam in the microwave for like 5-10 seconds, so it gets really hot and wet. Then she puts it on her face to open up the pores, and then she smacks down all the stuff, yogurt and honey and everything that she can find in the fridge. And then she washes off, and I see her smacking her face, and she washes up with ice cold water. Like she would put ice, and I'm like, wow. And then she gets really red, and she's really satisfied. But that's because that's the reason for it. And a lot of times you push it in, some will go, some will stay, and they call it 15 minutes of pleasure. Because it will stay, but it washes off, it smears off. So I can say this, Lancome is really well known for small particles. I know my mother knows. So they're able to cut it down to 90, even 80, because the cell is 100 apart. 90, 80 will go inside, right? And Dr. Brown was so proud. We cut it down to 33 to 50. That's why my mother-in-law said, you know what, everything's good there, which was introducing me to the product. All the products she tried for many years. The detergent, the toothbrush and everything, but the skincare too weak for me. Because she's extremely dry. She says too light. I said, really? I'm really dry too, so I won't bother. And then when I heard this, I'm like, oh, I understand. It goes right in, so we're kind of they love the oily stuff. So, still shiny, but it feels like you got some oil on it, right? It goes right in. Once it goes in, it does that. You see the nano capsules there? So, my daughter had fever, then you give her Advil. Works for her. And it says every 6 hours, give her, right? Then you're looking at it, you're like 8 hours, 6 hours. So it does the time release fashion of releasing the ingredients. Same thing, from my understanding, for 25 hours. So when I tried it first time in the evening I put the kids down, I literally locked the door, and then I'm like, wow, this is my time. The very first time, because I knew, I watched the little clip for evening care, doing the peeling gel and peel off mask, and then I put on my 6th set, I went to sleep, and of course I'm going to be up by 5 because of my sinus. And you usually fill your face, or not, you touch your face to put on glasses, and that felt really weird. It felt like really wet. I'd never felt like that before, because I think it's the force there that we're not used to. It really dries up your skin. But that day, I was pretty well moisturized. It was 5 in the morning. I'm like, wow. That's when I really looked into it. That's what happens. It does it for 25 hours. So, just remember to do it every day, once a day. It does last, and I can tell you, without even knowing all the technology, you just know it. So, the Essence has all 4 technologies built in it, that little humble Essence, and the price almost ridiculous, you don't want to buy. Because you kind of like, what, that cheap thing can do all that? Yeah, because it has all that 4 built in it, and it was awarded for, the nano capsule was awarded in Korea. They give out those awards for Samsung, LG, those chips, whatever they make. It's not given for cosmetics only, they give out the most innovative technology that week, and they won one of the weeks. So then, I think that was a few years ago, and when I joined, it was already there, so Apparently, the people who started before that award, they had a hard time because they didn't have to really explain, try it, it's good, it's cheap. But after that, it's been a breeze because you can look it up and it's right there. Along with like $300 of Essence eye cream. That's not the only Essence on IR52, but there are many of them, way over hundreds of dollars. So toner, in the sixth set there's toner, nutrition, eye cream, and Essence, lotion, and the BB cream is thrown in there for bonus. And it also does two functions. So functional ingredients put in there. Brightening and UV light. So in Canada, we're not able to put in the wording SPF, then it's treated like a medicine. So it's not there in Canada, but it's there. And these four, it's one of my favorites too. Anybody tries it, you don't want to spend so much money anymore because I'll save my money and go get the facial. That's my treat for my hard life. Then you come back, you're like another, like I don't know, a few months, you can't go back, you don't have time. And you know, it's $100, you don't want to spend all the time. But this humbly price, I'm like, this is so easy. And we can talk about it forever, but just try it. You know, you just come to my house, we always do it at my house. And we watch some clips after. But deep cleanser and foam cleanser is an everyday use. Deep cleanser is oil-based, so any makeup, even if you don't have any makeup, sunscreen is oil-based. Oil gets rid of oil better, and deep pores. And then foam cleansing is just a regular foam cleanser you would use, where it lathers like crazy. It's very condensed. So wet face, make sure you lather with water first, and then you clean off everything. It doesn't dry you out, but it's clean. It's one of the, you know, favorite items. And peeling gel for mild exfoliation rather than those granules, because that will really scrape off your skin. You feel fresh, but no, you literally just stripped off a layer of your skin, and it's not going to recover for years. So don't do it. Granules maybe just one little area, but that's very, very mild. And once used properly, you can't live without that thing, especially summer. And yes, I know many ladies, they swear by it. If I was more diligent, I'd do this every day. I know a lady who does it every day. But it's one of those things, you do it and you see the effect right away, because it kind of does this. It tightens, but it's never too hard. You can like tap on the phone while the mask is on. And if I get too lazy, I just put a little bit around here, because I have some pores here. Then it's easy, you take it off. So yes, make good use out of it. And now we have Essie Special for acne-prone skin, and I love that calming care because I am really extremely dry. In winter, I need more. So calming skin, calming care. I could talk about these three things for a long time, but it's herbal based. So instead of water, they use herb tea as a base.